The landscape is a mental construction of physical space, and it produces microclimates. What are all the climates of landscape? That's what the exhibition speaks about. My name is Bas Metz. I'm a landscape architect. I am the designer of the landscape part of the Parc des Ateliers here in Arles. So when you enter, the first thing you will notice is you're surrounded by landscape. You're in it. And I hope people understand that we're always part of a landscape surrounding us, instead of the kind of viewpoint from Petrarch looking at a landscape. So it's really, you're almost being looked at. If you think of it, we spend 80% of our time indoors, cut off from the biosphere that allows life. So how can we come to a better symbiosis between really us, humans, plants, and animals? And in that sense, the city can be understood as a juxtaposition of microclimates produced by buildings, but also by streets and pavements. We change runoff, we change permeability, we change wind, we change shoulder exposure. Studying each of these parts of the city as if you were studying a natural environment allows you to better understand its condition, to compare it to a natural situation and bring that logic on the side. I call that biospheric urbanism, an urbanism that deals with the biosphere and that tries to use the logic of the biosphere. And the moment you do that, the whole city becomes a patchwork of possibilities for plants to come back and produce life. And so Arles for me has been the biggest experiment. About 60, 70,000 square meters, we have shown now that life can come back and be self-sustaining. But what's interesting to see is now 4 years after planting is that they all survive. We have not lost species, we have more species now because some have come through the wind or through the bird. So I think we have to change our idea of a park as a kind of a fixed image that we try to keep for ourselves into a park as an evolutive process that produces more and more possibilities for other plants. And I think that, again, on a scale like the Parc des Ateliers is very promising, or at least is a bit of a relief in this constant anxiousness towards climate change, is that if we give plants the right possibilities, they can produce all that. But for me, all these projects that we have been developing since 2007 are part of the same thinking, the same quest, if you like, the same ambition, the same aspiration or vocation to rethink the city as a possibility for nature. So we have to rethink the city as an interface between meteorology and geology. Just like a tree does. A tree goes to the sun to create photosynthesis and goes into the earth to communicate with other trees and find the minerals that it needs. And that movement up and down, that's how we have to think of cities. That's why we need to de-artificialize. We need to get rid of that layer that blocks all interface. And we have to use plants to create that relationship between what's below and what's above. And so in that sense, it's not thinking of more parks in the city, but the whole city as a possibility for nature. And in that sense, there's this phrase that's really important: every leaf counts. Every leaf is CO2 taken from the air, transformed into material or organic material that lowers the temperature through photosynthesis. And so it's as simple as that. If a plant can grow, it will grow. And so how can we help plants use their potential opportunism, in a sense? And that, I think, could be exciting, because that will create a new way of looking at cities. But it's interesting to see how plant life attracts animal life, like it happened on the planetary scale. And so not only did the frogs come to the water, not only did the birds come back, but also the people came back. And I thought it was very interesting that it's a kind of reproduction of life on Earth, where plant life attracts animal life, us included. And that, I think, is really, again, a message of hope, that it's always, again, about the symbiosis between plants making it possible and us animals making use of it.